Welcome back to Sports Scene, everybody. Dan Freemuth back with you here on SEN. Well, later this week, we're going to have our entire Sports Scene team here in studio to reflect back on a hugely memorable high school boys and girls basketball season. One that saw a return to prominence for a number of area programs, the latest batch of 1,000-point scorers, and a whole host of postseason dynamos. The Central Catholic girls won their second straight district crown and record 25th overall, while the Vikings boys have now won 2 in a row as well, and 4 in the last 5 years. The executive education fellas, meanwhile, they've now won 6 straight, while the Bethlehem Catholic girls made it 8 in a row this winter. But no one captured the Valley's attention this postseason quite like the Parkland boys, which is why we're dedicating this edition of Top Plays to the Trojans' magical playoff run. A 6-week sojourn that began all the way back on February 9th in the EPC quarterfinals, where the top-seeded Trojans needed a buzzer-beating 3 from senior Jaden Thomas to slip past upset-minded number 8 Nazareth. Tied at 35 with just seconds left in regulation when Thomas, who had missed his previous 6 shots that evening, delivers from downtown in pushing Parkland into the league semis for the 4th straight season. Trojans then taking on Liberty in the Final Four, where just one player between the two teams finished in double figures, and to the shock and awe of absolutely no one, that player was Nick Koval, who tallied a game-high 19 points in guiding the Trojans to their second EPC final in the last 3 years and the team's 4th in program history. The senior scored in every quarter, counting 10 of his 19 points in the second half of Parkland's 52-33 win. Koval then tallied 18 in the championship, but was upstaged by his friend and fellow classmate Jaden Thomas, who counted a career-high 30 points as the Trojans took down rival Emmaus 59-45 in claiming their second EPC crown in the last 3 years and the 4th in program history. Thomas, who remember missed all of last season with a broken leg, had just 2 points in the first quarter, but exploded for 28 thereafter, including 21 in the second half, 17 of which came in the 4th quarter of Parkland's gold medal winning performance. Now, with that league championship triumph, the Trojans earned the number 1 seed in the District 6A tournament and a bye into the semifinals. Parkland faced Stroudsburg in the Final Four, where history was made as Nick Koval became just the 6th player in Lehigh County boys basketball history to record 2,000 career points. The milestone bucket came with a driving layup early in the second quarter of a 50-38 victory over the Mountaineers. The 2-time East Penn Conference Most Valuable Player finished with a game-high 25 overall as Parkland reached the district finals for a 4th straight season. The Trojans then seeking a 3rd consecutive district crown and a 2nd straight against Liberty, and they'd get it, thanks in part to senior Zaire Smalls, who sparked Parkland's 4th quarter comeback against the Hurricanes. Smalls with 15 points, including just the 5th made 3-pointer of his varsity career, to go along with 7 rebounds, as the Trojans outscored Liberty 20-7 in the final frame in securing the 49-41 win. 3 district titles in a row now for Parkland boys basketball, now up to a dozen district titles in the program's history. The Trojans then took their talents to the state tournament. 22 wins already going into the 32-team 6A field, and they were far from finished. Opening round action against District 1's Plymouth Whitemarsh. Just 4 Parkland players found the score sheet against the Colonials, but all of them reached double figures, including senior Robbie Roosh, who counted a season-high 17 points as part of the 65-35 first-round thrashing. Roosh knocked down 4 of the Trojans' half-dozen triples in the game, besting his previous season high of 15 points, set back in late December. Eddie Olson's group then locking horns with District 3 runner-up Chambersburg in the second round, where Parkland would earn yet another double-digit victory, the Trojans' 5th of these playoffs. A game that Parkland put out of reach early thanks to Koval, who notched 14 of his game-high 27 points in the first quarter, en route to a 61-46 win, taking the Trojans to the state quarterfinals for a 2nd straight season. 13th and final time this season that Koval would go for 25 or more in a game. Round of 8 rematch then with Roman Catholic, who ended the Trojan season in this exact spot a year ago. The Cahillites won that ball game by 18, but Parkland used a 12-0 run early in the 3rd quarter this time around to overtake the District 12 champs. Back-to-back buckets from Thomas as part of the run. He finished with 15 overall before Koval capped the scoring surge with a driving layup, part of his 19-point performance in a 57-50 win, taking the Trojans to the PIAA semifinals for the first time in 20 years. Another District 12 opponent then in the Final Four. Archbishop Wood fell in the semis last year and did so again this season. Roosh, one of 3 players for Parkland to reach double figures against the Vikings, a dozen points thanks to a game-high 4 trays, including a buzzer-beating 3-ball off the window, giving the Trojans a 1-point lead at intermission, which ultimately turned into a 59-51 win, securing the Trojans' spot in the state championship for the first time since 2004. Now, as we know, Parkland was ultimately denied that first PIAA boys basketball gold, despite a valiant second-half comeback against Central York. Not settling for silver, though, folks, earning it by way of a brilliant postseason run, one that saw the Trojans go 9-1 over the last 6 weeks, outscoring 10 fellow playoff combatants by 114 total points. Now, the Trojans ultimately finished the season 26-6 overall, with 17 of those 26 victories coming by double digits. It's the 3rd straight 20-win campaign for Parkland boys basketball, which graduates 10 seniors, a class of 2024 that helped produce 80 wins over the last 4 seasons and 5 total championships. 3 straight district titles to go along with EPC crowns in 2022 and 2024. Congratulations, Parkland boys basketball. A tremendous season. It has been a privilege and a pleasure to cover you guys all season long. Don't go anywhere. Steve Degler takes over when we return.